just a very short time for more. We have Nancy joining us, who is doing a lot of the back end stuff on the website from Kansas City. So the format is very simple. This is an agnostic platform for entrepreneurs who share their story. And by agnostic, I mean we don't care if you make t-shirts or if you make mobile apps. This is the place for you to come and share your journey. We're not Shark Tank, we're Guppy Tank. So this is a friendly, uplifting environment for us to hear your story as entrepreneurs and to help you go along in your journey as time progresses. We launched this, I'll give you just a quick background. We launched this a little bit over a year and a half ago, and about 2 years ago is when we started all the planning for this. So this is really exciting and a little sad at the same time. Today is my last 1 million cups as an organizer, but I'm handing this over to a very able and dedicated group. Also, remember, all volunteer entrepreneurs that are here to help forward this. So without any further ado, give some social media love to both the organizers and the sponsors as they go. And first present.
Those that have, planning an event is hard work. No matter the type of the event, there are all these options, limitations, and hurdles to jump through. Right now, we are about to call individual venues and ask them a ton of questions, search online by physically clicking on each individual venue website, or hire an event planner and pay them hundreds to do the searching for you. That's no way to plan an event, and that's why we created Venue Viking Event Space Explorer. Venue Viking is an online platform that allows event planners and individuals to explore and connect with event spaces for their event type. You can search by navigating through our filters, and you can search by birthday, corporate events, holiday parties, receptions, and much more. Individuals can then add their guest count and budget to the search, and Venue Viking will narrow down the search results, giving you the best venue for your event. The team is made up of 3 highly qualified individuals. First, you have my CCO, Joel Damas. He has over 15 years with web development experience and has won multiple awards for his work. He specializes in internet design, digital media, graphic design, and SEO. Then you have my CTO, Jacob Hunt. He has 10 years in web development, and with his last 5 years spent with JetBlue Airways as their lead systems developer. He specializes in highly scalable enterprise-class applications. Then you have myself, a marketing and entrepreneurial graduate with 15 years in the hospitality industry, with my last 7 years spent specializing in event management. Throughout my career, I've always strived to create a friendly, easy, and efficient way to book the venues I represented. And I thought I could take my passion and skill set and produce that same level of talent for multiple venues nationwide. And that's when the idea of Venue Viking came to life. I like to think of Venue Viking as a multi-tool for venue owners and managers to generate more leads and bring more events to their facility. I also think of it as a multi-tool for users because it allows them to explore and connect by using social media, and it allows them to view it on any of their devices. We monetize Venue Viking by monthly subscriptions or yearly subscriptions. We offer 3 packages that will fit any marketing budget for the venues. Advertising is another huge income for Venue Viking. We are an advertising hotspot for vendors such as DJs, catering companies, rental suppliers, limo services. They can all use our site to promote their business. Right now, we work out of the Tech Garage, a local incubator in downtown St. Petersburg, Florida. There we have fun, build, and grow our business. Since this launch in February, we have over 1,500 venues in our system and in over 20 major cities. Some of our paying venues include Bonefish Grill, Seasons 52, Eddie V's Prime Seafood, Vinoy Renaissance, Acropolis, and some Marriott locations, just to name some of the brands you might recognize. We are already in the works to continue growing Venue Viking and developing our own sales software. The sales software is going to be an additional service to the site that's going to be an event, all-in-one event management and booking tool for the venue owners. There they'll be able to track sales, pull analytics and reports, build contracts, print BEOs, banquet event orders, and also even take deposits. You can help us by following us on all our social media links and sharing it with your friends. We also have a newsletter out to keep up to date on all our progress and achievements. We're also looking for the right investors, data collectors, and sales representatives to join our team. And I just encourage you to check out the site and let me know what you think. You can email me directly, michael@venueviking.com. And I want to thank you for your time, and I look forward to answering.
Thank you. If anybody has any questions, please raise your hand and we'll be around with the mic.
So, first of all, I want to know where the Viking came from in that Venue Viking. I'm dying to know about the brand. But also, I guess, would you consider yourself the, Uber or co-officing of venues? How would you define yourself in one simple, what you're doing that's unique and different in the space?
Yeah, I mean, basically, first we'll start with your first question, Viking. So when I think of Viking, I think exploring, I think, finding new places, navigating. So that's one of the reasons that it came up. Also, my wife, she's Swedish, and every time I get sick or something, she's like, "Oh, I'm not going to get sick. I'm a Viking." So, between her and it just played off each other. That's kind of where that came from. And then, what was the second one?
Kind of the
the all-in-one.
exhibit.
Yeah. So I'm basically.
Sorry.
Everyone's familiar, I'm sure, with Wedding Wire, which is a listing site for wedding venues only, and that's basically what I'm doing. But I'm listing all venues for any event type, not just weddings. So, almost in a sense, Yelp for venues. There will be reviews and everything. You can contact the venue directly through us.
Okay, that's all.
What's the revenue model? How do you get paid?
Yeah, so I kind of skipped through that kind of fast now, and it's kind of more of a process than I wanted to go into on the slide. I was hoping someone would ask the question. So we do offer 3 subscription-based models for the venues themselves. Basically, we start everyone off as a free listing, or any venue can actually enter their own space onto Venue Viking for free. Once the venue's listed on the site for free, they then get an email confirmation letting them know that they have been listed on our site and to claim their listing. When they claim their listing, they can keep the free listing, which has all the general information you would need to know about the venue, or they can upgrade to one of our 3 packages. Now, each package goes up in services and options as far as what their listing actually looks like, all the way up to our last package, which is almost like a little marketing package for them, as well as the availability to customize their own little website for their listing. So it really turns their listing into its own website. And the goal is to get venues to have this at their disposal. When people are asking them questions or whatever, they can be like, "Here, check my listing out on Venue Viking."
Cool. We have another question right here.
Okay. Great concept, number one. I work with artists, the whole gambit of the creative class. If I were to say want to host a massive art fair, are you guys scalable enough to handle that kind of thing as far as sending out my invites, handling that whole process. I mean, right now there are some other apps that are doing that are connected to venues that can do those kinds of things. So I mean, are you guys scalable up? Are you just looking for the small corporate events, or are you looking to go like, you know, mega size, fat boy friendly kind of thing?
This is totally scalable. You know, even the software behind it is, you know, completely scalable. We can add 1 million venues right now, and it's not going to affect any way this application works or runs. But to answer your question, you know, my idea behind Venue Viking was there's so many unique venues out there that no one knows about. There's parks, there's libraries, museums, there's all these different places that no one even thinks about when they're planning their next event. And that's really what I wanted to encompass, was listing any and every venue, whether it's, like I said, a park, a museum, it doesn't matter. As far as the software behind Venue Viking and the whole booking process, we're not there yet. It is in development. We will be, you know, hopefully done with it in 6 to 8 months, I would say. When that's available, that's, you know, going to incorporate what you're talking about as far as, you know, building this whole event from start to finish. Right now, it's just a listing site. We're just listing venues.
Are you tied in, linked in with any CRMs, or for instance, if I wanted to run something through Salesforce, or
Right,
are you
yes,
linked in
we
with
will
those?
integrate other calendars. There'll be the, you know, availability to integrate other calendars and like stuff like Salesforce and stuff as well, yeah.
Okay, and the last question, I promise.
Okay.
If, from the events management standpoint, not just the venue standpoint, why should I use you? I mean,
Yeah,
I know
so-
you've got cool locations, but give me a compelling reason why I need you, Bubba.
Yeah, well, basically, it's just another way to get your exposure from a venue side of things. I mean, there's, you know, from my experience, what I found is there isn't a lot of places. Here,
We think that's yours.
yeah, it might be. It's the alarm.
This gives us a great time to think up more questions.
Wake up. That's my normal wake up call. All right, sorry about that. So,
Why should I use you?
yeah, basically, are you speaking as a person planning an event, or are you speaking as from a venue?
I am speaking as an event planner. Why should I even bother to look on your site for venues? Why should I use you?
Right.
Over anybody else?
Okay, so you as an event planner, you should use me because you can compare venues side by side, find out what venues specifically looks great to you. You can reach out to each venue individually through our site without having to fill out a contact form for each event. So basically, as an event planner, and you're planning multiple events, you can create one event for each different event you're planning, and then you attach those to the venues all with one click of a button, and it goes out to all these different venues. So that's why you'd use me, for ease.
Okay, so and I admit I was looking at your website when you were talking about your team, but do you have someone that's on the restaurant side of things? I mean, you said that you're the marketing person, you had someone else that was the techie, and then you had someone else that was doing something, and I didn't.
Yes, I have like a back-end developer, a front-end and graphic design developer, and then myself, which is like the marketing, front-end, sales, everything.
The reason why I'm going there is because there's a woman over in your neck of the woods in St. Pete who has knowledge of just about every restaurant in the Tampa St. Pete area, and then several others, and she actually has a site that she on, but is not as passionate about that part of it.
Right.
And if you'd like an introduction, I can. She can probably help out on the restaurant side of things and identifying people for you to sell to and things like that.
Yeah, of course. And I mean, when I mentioned that, you know, my background is restaurant. Basically, I opened some local restaurants over in the Tampa Bay area and St. Pete area. So, but yeah, of course, I would love that connection.
Quick question. Going back to the event planner position, let's say I'm an event planner, I'm looking at the website, would I be able to create my own profile where if I wanted to connect to 5 different venues, I send them all a message and I would just sign in my profile, see all my messages or my upcoming events, everything like that?
Yeah, so there is a back end, for a person if they create a login. So, we created this site so anyone can use it without logging in. So, anyone could just go, use it, search venues, and reach out to a venue without ever having to enter an email address, a name, or anything. But if you do log in, you do have your own back end messaging center and things like that you can keep track with, talk to the venues back and forth, and it also goes to your direct email as well. So.
I have 2 questions.
It's
First,
find the mic. Where's the mic?
I know you're Venue Viking, but are you going to be adding all the other things that an event planner would be looking at? Florists, DJs, photographers?
Yeah, no, of course, and actually that's already implemented. What had happened is kind of a funny story. We started entering venues, like I said, back in February, and we decided, obviously that we need to add DJs, limo services, catering companies, photographers, things like that. So we're like, well, how can we incorporate that into our already existing listings? And we decided to come up with another filter, which is filter by category. So you'll be able to actually do the drop down for category and pick specific types of things like beach wedding, photographer, catering company, those types of things. Right, if you do a general search, they'll be kind of populated in the search with the venues, but you could drop down that category, hit DJs, and only the DJs in that area would populate. The reason it's not live right now is because what we had to do is once we implemented the categories drop down, every venue we already had in the system had to be associated with the category or no venue would ever come up. So we're working on backtracking, getting the venues set under a certain category and then moving forward with listing DJs, florists, all that kind of stuff.
Great. My second question, you said that people can leave reviews. How are you managing that as far as competitors leaving reviews, negative reviews on people, or somebody, I know Yelp has, huge algorithms and they still have problems. How are you guys addressing that?
Well, we are allowing the event, whoever owns the facility, be able to flag reviews. So if someone writes a negative review that they don't want on their live site, they simply flag it. It stays there, but it goes away from the live listing. And they can actually respond to that review as well. So whoever filled out that review, they can write them back, hey, what was the issue or whatever. So it kind of brings, could potentially bring an unhappy customer, back to a satisfied customer if they can do something to, rectify the situation.
But they can actually, the venue can say, we don't want people to see this review. So then customers looking at it are, likely to just see all the positive reviews. That sort of negates the quality of the review.
Right. I mean, yeah. Right now, we're managing it the best that we can, and that's the way that we found was the easiest. As we grow, that might not be the right thing, to do. But at this point in time, that's just where we're at right now. We just, we implemented the reviews. We know we needed to have reviews, but we wanted to find the easiest way to manage the reviews, and this was it right now. When we grow and we have a team of people that can focus on just that area, then that would be something different.
Thank you.
Of course.
I have a question. Sorry, me again. So as an event planner, as part of my business, I think I know everything, right? I already think I know all the venues that I have at my disposal here in Central Florida. But I would be very interested to help you find more venues to add to your database if that becomes like a CRM for me. So have you thought about monetizing for event planners, like an affiliate program. If they bring you people, are you gonna pay them something? Because I would think a lot of event planners would feel really good about that.
Yeah, of course.
And that
You
opportunity.
know, we're open to options, and I knew when I started this thing, it could really go in so many different ways. Again, we're only a couple months old as a company, so this thing could really go in so many different ways, and doing something like that, we would love to, you know, obviously work with event planners, have them help us list venues. That would be great.
Just in the last couple of weeks, I've become a part of two very interesting type of boutique experiences. One is going to be a motorcycle resort. It's a 4.5 star up in Asheville. Another something in Charleston. But what I'm looking at, here, you want a good one? Utopia Residences. This is a cruise ship that has living quarters. It's a gated community on a cruise ship that has hotel rooms as well and banquet facilities. I mean, there's so many different types of boutiques that are coming up. I wasn't even aware of them a month ago. And this is, to me, seems to be an avenue where they could be marketing what they have. So is that possibility there?
Yeah, of course. You know, any like I said, you know, going back a while, you know, any place that can host some sort of event, we want on our site. And that's the thing, is just getting the knowledge out there for these people to come forward and say, hey, I have this unique space. I want to be a part of Venue Viking, and it's going to give them more exposure. And the way, you know, that our packages are set up, you know, the big hotel chains can be right next to a mom and pop place, you know, and I wanted to keep it like that. I didn't want, you know, just, you know, your first whole page was just nothing but hotels, you know. I wanted to be able to be a bunch of different venues.
Dealing with both venues as well as event planners and dealing with events myself, one of the things that I found is typically you'll reach out to a venue and they'll give you some general information, but they want to make that contact. They want to have that dialogue with the person who's seeking that event. Is there additional information that I receive by using your site that I wouldn't be able to receive by going directly to the venue? And in turn, is the venue still getting those contacts and quality connections to start that discussion?
Right. So what I have found in my experience in doing this and working for multiple restaurant concepts, a lot of times the venue website or whatever has information about their facility, but they don't always list the contact information. They don't always have, you know, the different spaces that they have and their capacities. And what's happening is a lot of times you have to call these places individually, and that's when it becomes a real pain in the butt, because I know I hardly answered anyone's call because I was so busy all the time. And then that's frustrating, and then they can't book their event when they want to. So this is, you know, what I like to think of is Venue Viking works when I can't answer the phone, or when I'm sleeping and someone's looking for a venue or event space. It's working while we're not, and I think that's, you know, the biggest thing to, you know, what we're trying to do is just create a way to connect. And to answer your question, yes, the lead that is filled out through our system goes directly to the venue manager, who's ever in charge of that venue. They get an email, and it goes to their messaging center within internally in Venue Viking.
Hi. Early in the Q&A, you mentioned that one of the things that you want to do is be able to offer some of those unique venues that people might not be aware of. And I liked that. That caught my attention. And it got me thinking, and I don't know if you're going this direction or this is something you want to do, but you know, I think everyone likes to think that what they want is unique and what they're looking for is special. And from a user standpoint, like if I'm planning an event or planning a wedding or whatever it is, the ability to potentially come on and say, okay, answer some questions or fill out a little quiz, and that based on those results, that the recommendations can be, okay, you wanted, you know, a beach wedding, and you like this kind of music, and yada, 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 and here are suggestions based on how you're filling all of this out. So it can recommend DJs and recommend food, maybe, you know, I want vegan and a beach wedding and classical music or something.
Yeah, no, that's a great idea. And right now, our main, our main focus was to get people browsing venues like as soon as possible. So if you go to our site, we just have the city where you fill in your city, and then that populates the venues in that city, and you're looking at venues immediately. Even on our homepage, if you look at it, we have featured venues and featured cities listed right on our homepage. So the idea was just to start looking at venues immediately. I do like the idea of having some sort of quiz if they want to take it to kind of fit them with the best the venue. That would be pretty neat, I think. Thank you.
Along the same lines, if you go to a city and there's a lot of restaurants, cities vary in size tremendously, so how do you order when you have a lot of listings in one particular area? How do you order?
So again, it's kind of based on, so if we list, okay, so first we list the venue. If the venue listed has no image and they're just listed as a free venue, they're at the bottom of the list. They'll never come up. If they add pictures, they're higher than the ones without pictures. Once a venue is claimed, even if it stays a free listing, it's higher than all the venues that are unclaimed. And then once they pay anything, then they go up in tier like that. So technically, the ones paying are going to be the ones you see first.
So Michael, that was our last question, but we do always close at 1 Million Cups with one final question, which you touched on a little, but it's good to reiterate. What, as a community, are the top things that we can do for you?
Yeah, I mean, just exposure, as event planners and stuff like that, just using the site, giving me feedback, I think is huge to keep us moving in the right direction. Follow us on our social sites. Again, log in, or not, you don't have to log in, but sign up for our email. You can go to our website and sign up for our email. There's a link down at the bottom. But we do a email update every month, which will keep you up to date. You can share it with your friends, colleagues, co-workers, whoever you think might be interested in Venue Viking. And we are looking for investors. We are also looking for data collectors, people to grab venues, enter them into the system for us, and then we're also looking for business development, sales type people as well. So.
Thank you very much. We appreciate it. Everyone give them a big round of applause. All right, so we're at our little mid-break and we're making an executive decision to take a quick break, which we're going to do in a way of thanking our darling Ron for being with us for so long. We have cake, because nothing says I love you like sugar. But we wanted to say thanks to Ron. So Ron, stand up and come take one last bow and get all the applause and adoration that you deserve. So we're gonna all pop out, everyone grab a slice of cake, and in the meantime, I'll keep talking. Please make sure you tweet your love to Ron and thank him for all he's done for us, and also our sponsors, Rollins, Torch Studios, who's coming on board to live stream us, Barney's, who's giving us the coffee to go with the cake, yay! And who am I missing? No, that's it. All right, everybody, let them eat cake. Let's go. Don't forget to get your parking passes if you parked in the common parking lot. So 2-3 minute The folks from G2. Come on up, guys. David. Okay, I'm gonna figure out where his presentation is, or I'm gonna tap dance until David gets here. With cake.
I'll tap it over.
Okay. You're in cake. Let them eat cake. Everybody give a big round of applause. That's always a good. Thank you.
Oh, you need to get rid of your mic.
All right, hello everybody.
Hi.
I have this fantasy that's never going to happen. That I arrive on time to an event and I dress like the venue Viking gentleman that preceded me. This is never going to happen. All right, so my company is G2. My name's Kyle, and I'm the founder, CEO, receptionist, janitor, you know, everything. I have my partner here, Lisa. She helps out, and we do just about anything digital. Oh, there we go. Sorry about that. Let's see. Okay, so we do some crazy things. Many years ago, I was a aerospace engineer, and one of my jobs was to create slideshows for trade shows. And so, since we designed in CAD, I took the CAD drawings and I turned them into 3D and animated them. And so they had this show that ran at these trade shows, and the only problem was nobody would leave the booth to let other people come in and see. That's how cool the 3D animations were. So, so I started thinking, you know, at the time there was Quake and Unreal video games, and I thought, wouldn't it be cool if there was a persistent trade show? You know, there's nothing better than being in person, but what about this situation where you can't see and you know, interact with the people because at a trade show you don't have a lot of time? So I created, that started me creating virtual worlds. And some people call them serious games. So it looks like a video game, like this does, but you do serious things with them. You do simulations, you do online meetings, online schools, and it kind of gives you a feeling of presence that you don't have when you're doing a WebEx meeting or Skype call, something like that. And so from that was born an idea of, all right, instead of just meeting online and learning, you know, which is all great things to do in this kind of a context. For example, with learning, you could have a school where the class meets inside the mouth of a whale. You know, so if you're studying biology and those kinds of things, the environment can be whatever you want in a 3D world. But I thought, wouldn't it be cool if people could design products collaboratively online? So what we have here is the flow diagram of 2Cube, which is our application to let people collaboratively design online. And it starts, let's see if I can operate this. Starts here with a EEG device, which basically monitors brain activity, and a Connect camera, which senses the human body, gestures, finger movements, even facial expressions. So what people do is they stand in front of the depth camera. 2Cube software is running, and you can see the purple outline is my body. And what I'm doing is, and this is, we're at the proof of concept stage, so this is really rough, but I'm moving.
Hold the mic closer.
Sorry about that. I'm moving my hands around, and I'm indenting and extruding a mesh object in 3D. And what we think is really powerful about this paradigm is you're more like a sculptor than a person sitting with a mouse and keyboard, which is not natural when you're creating objects. And so with TubeCube, you can also, if you're doing hard shapes, you can use voice commands. You can say, create a cube and then stretch it to 3 foot by 2 foot, and so on. When you're done with the modeling process, you simply hover over this button right here, and that exports it to a 3D printer. So it's also networked. Online, you can invite your friend in, and you can either both simultaneously sculpt the object, or you can turn it over. You can say, all right, now you take control, rotate it, you know, change the backside, however you're collaborating. I guess that's my last one. I thought I had one. Oh. Okay, so what I'd hoped to do today, and then I realized I only had 6 minutes, was to set up TubeCube here and have some people try it. But what we've recently started development on is the EEG device. There's a group in India that is going to use TubeCube with an EEG device for students and in particular anybody with a learning disability. So they're going to put the EEG device on. It's going to measure brain activity. We're going to capture that to a computer, and we're going to task the student with, here's a particular kind of object we want you to design. So they're going to go through the TubeCube shaping process and create the object, print it out, hold it in their hand, and then we're going to say, all right, how close to what we asked you to create did you get? All that EEG data is going to be stored, and over the course of time, we're going to apply machine learning to it. And machine learning is a subset of artificial intelligence. And what we're going to be able to do is look at historical data and say, all right, when student A created something, and in the first round, they said, well, I only got to about 50% of what I really wanted to design. Then we changed the environment. When I was a kid, my mom's a psychologist, and one of the books that I read said the color of a classroom affects the learning of certain students. And I thought, wow, how cool would it be to be able to change the environment and then test? And that's exactly what we're doing with TubeCube. We're going to change the environment of the student, and we're going to have them create again. And we're going to see if we get closer on the next round. And what our hope is that we'll discover that for certain learning disabilities, a certain environment is better for them. So we can start predicting how students will perform and how best to get them to their goals quickly. All right.
All right, thank you. As always, raise your hand with questions. We have one actually coming in off the internet. Do you leverage Microsoft Connect or for hand gestures, or is there a better camera for 3D gestures?
Right now, we're using Microsoft Connect V2, version 2, for Windows. And as soon as we sent a video to Microsoft, because we didn't know V2 was out yet, they had a developers group for it. And they overnighted us a camera. They were so excited about TubeCube. So we're playing around with Connect V2, but we're also looking at Leap Motion, which is a much smaller device that's closer to your computer. And we may trying to get into the HoloLens development program, because the combination of working with your hands to shape something and seeing that shape as a hologram right in front of you, that's the most powerful computer-based design, that environment that we can imagine.
Actually, I have give me 1 second, sorry. Just a quick question. What do you actually see as your product here? Because there's a lot of individual things. Obviously the hardware, you're using Kinect, and the actual modeling software, there's tons of 3D modeling software. The organic nature kind of reminds me of ZBrush. I don't know if you're familiar with ZBrush.
Yeah.
But it's used everywhere. So to me, it seems like you're kind of bridging the gap between, the niche would be more like bridging the gap between the Kinect and these 3D modeling packages. So I don't see why you'd want to reinvent these sophisticated wheels that are out there already.
Yeah, that's a great question. 3D printers are hot right now. Of course, video games and the types of serious games that I'm talking about are very popular. 3D software, modeling software, is extremely difficult. Right now, if you go out and you go, gee, I want to buy a 3D printer, and you take it home, you put it on your desk, your choices are, unless you're a CAD designer, to go online and buy a model and then print it out. And so that's no fun, What if your RC car breaks and you want to, remake a part of it to fix that car? So you sit down in front of Blender or Maya or any number of 3D applications, and it's intimidating. What 2Cube is initially to be is breaking the ice, getting you a step into modeling and building your confidence so that you then can maybe move up to higher end tools like ZBrush and that kind of thing. So you're exactly right. We don't want to reinvent the wheel, but we want to get, especially younger people, we want to get them excited about 3D modeling and design, and particularly here in the United States, we're losing every category of business overseas, and so the more that we can build kids' confidence to engineer and design, that's part of the mission of 2Cube.
Okay, so engineering and design is more of the focus than taking this into the educational arena? Because there's a reason I'm asking.
Well, taking it into the educational arena, by that I mean, if we can create engineers, get kids thinking, wow, I just fixed my car, maybe I could design a car, and then they grow up to become an engineer. That's, where we're at. The other aspect with the headset, that is just something that a group came along and said, hey, we're here to study what makes people learn better, and we think that your tool is a very natural human way of creating something, and that brain activity is what we want to monitor. So I guess to answer your question, it's to get kids to love engineering and then go to the more advanced tools like ZBrush and stuff. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. But you had said something about the ability to possibly change the learning environment. And what popped in my head is I picked up 11 MBA brush-ups, these week-long things, using something called Super Teaching, which was a 3-screen system that integrated all these different forms of media. And what it does is the brain posts its information when it's resting. So you're looking at the PowerPoint, this screen over here, you've got your speaker over there, there's dolphins swimming in the ocean, there's a hot air balloon going over the mountains. You look there, you just posted what was there, and your learning retention was almost triple. So I was looking to see, is this something that could be integrated into something more sophisticated like that?
Yeah, absolutely, and that's where the, I don't know, have you seen HoloLens from Microsoft? Well, when you get back to your computer, do a search for it, it's amazing. It's, I've just counted out us having holograms in my lifetime. But HoloLens is a headset that you wear, and whatever's on your computer is around you. And so, so that is kind of like the 3-screen system, but it's the ultimate. And so, so yeah, that's what we want to put together. Just imagine you're a sculptor and you see the thing. You can walk around it, and you're using your hands to shape it, and then you just flick it over towards the 3D printer, and out it comes.
first I was trying to find out, are you funded by NSF, or where does the funding come from? Is this just sort of a side project that's a hobby for you, or what is the plan?
No, the 3D environments that I was talking about, where you do online meetings and stuff like that, there's an avatar and those kinds of things. That's been my business for the past 10, 15 years. This kind of fits into it because I struggled for a while to learn 3D modeling software. And also, there's this 3D world called Second Life, and you log into Second Life, and you can build, your own environment. And so I thought, well, Second Life's cool, but I think that if we could make building your environment more hand-based, that we'd have something a lot easier and a lot more fun to play around with. So we're self-funded. I don't have any grants, but the group in India, they are applying for a grant now, and if that goes through, then we're going to be able to really finish this thing off.
I guess where my head is, going back to the beginning of your presentation, this all started because you were making incredible trade show, interactive, whatever. I mean, you obviously have the skills that you could probably teach somebody to do and pump those out tomorrow. And that's a very, very significant value add. I mean, it doesn't even need to be under this brand name, for example, but that is money in the door tomorrow. And you could just have one or two engineers building CAD things for trade shows all day long, and there's that just gives you more runway and gives you more play money to effectively develop this faster, is what is sort of where my head is.
Yeah, and that's what we're working towards. The difficulty is with any new concept, people are afraid of change. I'm afraid of change myself. And you show them something that looks like a video game, and they think, how does this apply to business or education? So we have a lot of education to do to people to explain that you can do more with this stuff than just run around shooting aliens. So it's taking time to kind of convince people and get them hooked on it, but it's happening. But great suggestion, thank you.
Got a question right here.
Thank you for being a champion creative.
All right.
That's what you
Does
are.
that make up for my lack of a proper suit? And all
No, brother, you are more than appropriately dressed for who you are. So stay true to you, okay?
Thanks.
That said, if you would like some sculptors, some honest professional sculptors to work with, I'm gonna reach out to you after this.
Great.
I have a couple hundred
Fantastic.
who would jump in on this in a minute. Additionally, my mind is exploding with like 10,407 things I can do with this. Oh my God, it's awesome. Okay. The one question I have is, you said you're heading into dev for the motion kits. Are you going to be, is your intent to develop the kit and sell it as an add-on with the software package where you just go to town and do it yourself? Or is it a link into a cloud-based server? Or is it going to be like a more, what is your product and the connective service for it?
Sure.
Is the specific question I'm asking.
Right? We're going to follow kind of the traditional app model where the base app is free. You install it on, they're working on getting depth sensors, depth cameras into tablets and stuff. So you install it on your tablet, your desktop, and you can immediately start making things, start shaping it, send it right to the 3D printer, use it in a video game. What we're going to do, we noticed one thing, when we held different shaped objects and moved it around in front of the camera, it was like a lathing effect. Depending on what you held, changed the shape of the object. So one of the things we're going to do is we're going to have kind of like Nerf shaping tools, so that you have a different tool in your hand, or you hold it with both hands. And also, we're going to have base model kits. So instead of starting with just a square cube or a sphere, we sell whole libraries of base items that you can then kind of manipulate into whatever you want. So that's where we're going with that. Thank you.
So I have a question.
Sure.
In the learning disability trajectory with the motion kit that you're going, do you have on your team, because I have a group in India and I have yourself, but do you have like a group of advisors that are physicians, educators, et cetera, et
Yes.
cetera? Because touting them, I think, would build credibility. So tell us about them.
Yeah, so, and this is a very new aspect to 2Cube. 2Cube was just my idea to make modeling easy and fun and to leverage 3D printers so that you can create your own stuff with it. A gentleman that I've been working with for years at IBM is the lead Virtual Worlds, which is those 3D serious games world. He was the lead guy at IBM for exploring those possibilities. He's a Harvard graduate, just a brilliant guy. And so he said, Kyle, I love this 2Cube thing. I've got this gentleman over here in India who works for a government research center. And his name is Dr. Tapan Gandhi. I always get to, the more I work around the world, the more names that I have to learn to pronounce, and it can be a challenge. But Dr. Gandhi is a specialist in neuroscience and machine learning and computer science. And you know, they came up with this idea of putting the EEG headset on and using this as a tool to, instead of, you know, having a student come in and fill out, you know, a test, they wanted a much more natural kind of brain activity, something much more creative. So they said, hey, we can get a grant for this if we merge this EEG data collection with your system. And so about a month ago, that aspect of it started. And they just sent me the grant application, and I can't understand half of it because it has to do with neuroscience and how people learn and all that. So I'm coming up to speed on that. But yeah, I'm going to be putting on our website, g23d.com, everybody, the committee, where we're going, when you can download and try it out, all that good stuff.
All right, well, it looks like this is going to wrap up, but we do always ask one last question in the spirit of 1 million cups, which are, what are the top things as a community that we can provide to you to help you move this along?
Yeah, well, today was a great help. This gentleman here boosted my confidence quite a bit that we have a good idea. And all we're looking for is to get some feedback. So if you just follow our Twitter feed or go to our site occasionally, you'll see in the next few months the ability to download the program, try it out, and tell us what you like and what you don't.
All right, well, let's give Kyle and G2 a round of applause.
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, come on, you got to wrap it up. One last time.
So, a lot of you have asked where I'm going. I'm not really going anywhere. I'm here. And I will be back, so I will be sitting there and asking a bunch of questions. Finally, getting involved in a conversation much more than I have been. I'm really swamped with a lot of the things that I'm involved with, both personally and within the community. And we now have an amazing team that's ready to take over and have been doing really an amazing job. And this is great. So it's a great feeling to hand the baton over and see that this is going to continue. But we need you guys. So you as the community need to go out and reach out to your friends, to the companies. You've seen a couple different things being presented today. Go online and you'll see a lot of other different things that are happening. Bring everyone here. This is your voice, your place to provide additional feedback and tell the community that this is really a cool area to stay. You don't have to go to Boston. You don't have to go anywhere. Stay in Orlando, grow your company, share ideas and energy with everyone around you. And that's it. So go get some new presenters for us. Bring people next week. I won't be here next week. I'm in Germany traveling to a trade show, but I'll be back the week after. So see you the week of the 15th. Thank you.
You pointed out something really interesting that, yeah, but yeah,
How you doing? Great presentation. Thank you. Question. Are you more focused on catering as far as your user base?